What's up, everyone? This is Guy, and I wanted to review how my DraftKings teams did this past week. We've just finished week 1, and I wanted to go over where I finished in the standings, talk about what strategies I picked, and I hope all of y'all did well in your week 1 entries as well. So let's get into it. So I put 5 teams out there this week. I did 4 of them were in the just main event, the $3 entry, $1 million to first place, which had 1,436,510 entrants. So I was 4 of them. And then I put 1 team in on the early game only. That one was $3 to enter, and I think 50,000 to first place or something like that. We had 72,608 people participate in that game as well, so you can kind of see that on the screen. So I'm gonna go from best to worst, and just kind of look at my lineups and what I think did well and what I could have done better. So first of all, in this lineup for the $1 million to first place, I got 45,436th place again out of 1.4 million. So I'm really happy with that because that's like what, 96, 97 percentile. So I'm pretty happy with that one. Yes, we know, happy Gold Cup. So let's look at my lineup first, and then we will compare it to the winner. So for this lineup, I had Drew Brees at quarterback. I think New Orleans and Oakland was not only was it game of the week if you were watching it, but it was game of the week for fantasy as well. There's just so many people put up points in that game. It was just unreal. Amari Cooper was good. Drew Brees was good. Willie Snead was good. Braden Cooks was good. I mean, it was a really good. It was a really good game, obviously. So Brees had 35 points. No regrets there, obviously. Christine Michael at running back. I really predicted Michael to have like a 20-point game. I thought the upside that he had for the value, I just thought that was too good to pass up. Didn't quite pan out the way that I wanted it to, as Seattle struggled a little bit in that game. Lamar Miller put up 18. Amari Cooper put up 24. We had Willie Snead who put up 35. So as you can see, like, yeah, we took a risk with Michael. It didn't pay off, but we were pretty good for our first 5 picks, or 4 of our first 5. Brees, Miller, Cooper, Snead. Good picks. Then we get into Sammy Watkins, who got a little bit injured. And then you kind of look at Gary Barnidge. Oh, man. Gary Barnidge did not have the rapport with Robert Griffin III that I expected him to. So he put up a big old 0. That was super disappointing. I mean, even if he had put up like 10 points, I mean, granted, in this contest, you have to finish so high to get a decent amount of money. But it could have gone, 10 points could have been 10 more bucks, So that was the biggest bust of the week for me. Biggest bust, Gary Barnidge. Then we had Spencer Ware. I thought Spencer Ware was a phenomenal replacement for Jamal Charles last year, and I thought he would do the same thing this year, especially against San Diego. And he did not disappoint. I was a little disappointed in the Texans, though. I thought they were going to have a better game against Chicago. And by the way, just to mention, so everyone is clear, this does not include the Monday night games, nor does it include the Thursday night games. So that's why you don't see any of the players there, or why we aren't talking about those players for this contest. So really happy with a lot of the picks here. Michael, Barnidge, and Watkins were the biggest disappointments. I could have put that money elsewhere and done a lot better. I had Will Fuller in a few of my lineups. Having him instead of Watkins would have been great. I really thought Barnidge was going to have a good week, so I don't think I would have done anything different there. So, so that's first 175 points, 45,436th place out of 1.4 million. So let's take a look at the next one. Won $9 on that one. Next entry, here we are. So on this one, I got 184,998th place, which is 87 percentile. For this one, we had Derek Carr as the starting quarterback. Again, the Oakland and New Orleans game was a big deal, and picking players out of that was huge. So for this one, we had Derek Carr at quarterback. Again, the New Orleans and Oakland game was huge for fantasy points. Jennings at running back. I really thought Jennings was going to have a better game than he did. So he was a little bit of a disappointment. Of course, Spencer Ware, Amari Cooper, Willie Snead, consistent pretty much throughout most of my lineups. I thought Steve Smith Sr. would have had a better day than he did. I think Wallace didn't necessarily take the targets, but he just took the big play away from Smith with a touchdown. Thought Golden Tate would have a bigger day. He was a little weird because he was questionable all the way up to game time, and we never really had an update, but I thought he was a good play. Obviously, Jones Jr. would have been the better play. Had the Texans again, and then busted with Barnidge. All right, so we'll take it once $6 on that one. Let's go to our next lineup. Okay, so this one I just squeaked in, so to say, 346,222nd place, which was the top 75%. Well, yeah, top 25%. You know what I mean? Finished higher than 75% of the rest. Let's take a look at the lineup here. So we had this one was kind of a risk. We had Dak Prescott at quarterback. Thought he was worth the risk, but it didn't quite pay off. Really, I just wanted to catch everyone off guard. I thought if I could get points from him, that other people weren't getting, that it might set me apart from everyone else. Didn't quite pan out, but I think it was worth the risk. That's one of the big things, too, when you're making these lineups. You're trying to beat 1.4 million people, or if you're looking forward to this coming weekend's tournaments, you're going to be trying to beat anywhere from 250 to 400,000 people. That's a huge deal. And most people who are pretty good at doing this are going to be able to look at the player pool and figure out who's going to be good. So what you have to do is get points from unexpected sources, and you have to know how to discern between who is going to be so good that everyone's going to have him that I'm going to miss out to not play him, and who is going to be good that no one's expecting and I need to have him on my team to differentiate from everyone else. And like I said, we'll look at the $1 million winner lineup too and talk about that in just a second. Freeman was a bust at running back. I thought he was going to have an easy 20-point game based on how he did against Tampa Bay last year, but Coleman took a lot away from him, so I'm not going to be looking at Freeman for quite some time. We've already talked about Miller, Cooper. This was just such a great, everything about this lineup was really good if we just made one or two other decisions. If we had put, say, Spencer Ware at running back instead of Devontae Freeman, there's essentially almost 30 more points there. And you even save money. We could have upgraded the quarterback to Carr, got 15 more points there. Now you're pushing 190 for the overall total. And that would have been pretty good. Golden Tate could have switched over easy to Snead, had 20 more points there. Then you're talking 210, and you're getting pretty high there. So this, in my opinion, even though this didn't finish the highest, this was my best lineup. Everything was solid in my opinion, aside from the top two here at Prescott and Freeman. But a few changes there could have been pretty successful in my opinion. So really, honestly, I should have selected someone like Carr at quarterback, kept Spencer Ware on the team. Yeah, really, and then found a slot for Snead. So I think Tate for Snead, Freeman for Ware, and then Prescott for a more expensive quarterback like Carr really would have put us over the top. We would have been pushing about 210 points, which, let's see what 210 points would have done. 210 points would have scored around $96, which, hey, you're not gonna retire early on $96, but still, it would have been nice. Let's look at the winning lineup. So the winning lineup was Randy Randerson 1. He had Drew Brees. This is what I'm talking about. Going into the weekend, we knew Drew Brees was going to have a good game. We knew Cooks was going to have a good game. Snead, he's got the right players here. We all thought Spencer Ware was going to have a good game. AJ Green, the only reason I didn't pick him is because I just thought he was too expensive. Tom, I had him on a couple of my research sheets, just didn't pick him. But now you can see where Randy separated himself from everyone else. Theo Riddick, 27.8 points. Huge deal. Willing to pay the money for AJ Green. I think that separated him from a lot of other people. Dante Moncrief at 18.4. I think that was a huge deal. So you can really see what separated his lineup from everyone else. And congratulations, Randy Randerson, newest fantasy millionaire. 250 points. Whenever you're building your lineups, you should always build it when you're building for this kind of a tournament, a large pool tournament, thinking, what is the most that I'm going to get out of my team if they have their best day? Okay, and we'll look at my final lineup real quick. This one just had a lot of risks in it that didn't pay off. Overpaid for Ezekiel Elliott. Jordan Matthews was a good pick, but Steve Smith didn't pay off. Overpaid for Golden Tate. Took a huge risk on Robert Griffin III. Really just wanted that element of surprise. Barnidge flopped. Michael flopped. Titans didn't do as well as I thought they would. So you can kind of see how we picked, what we picked. And I've got all my research done for this upcoming weekend. And I'm really eyeing a little bit different process this weekend. I'm really not trying to put all of my money into big tournaments. Overall, this past weekend I put $15 on 5 games, or on 5 teams, essentially all into huge tournaments, and I won $26. So I came out ahead $11, which I'm happy with. But I want to see if I can do a little bit more than that this time. What I'm going to do the first time is I'm going to enter in some double ups. And I know if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, oh, everyone thinks they can get rich quick in double ups. And they can't. That's not possible. I mean, it's possible, but like it's not guaranteed. You have to be really smart with your double ups. You have to pick the right tournament. For me, picking the right tournament means picking tournaments that have a lot of entries, more than 250 entries. I found a few on DraftKings that had 1,000 entries that only had a max entry limit of 1 to 3 teams, because you don't want to be in a 10,000 or whatever, let's just say 1,000, and then you got someone with 25 or 30 teams bumping everyone down. So there's those tournaments that we've got. So I got $10 in double ups, pretty much all in $1 double ups, spread out through 10 different leagues. I've got 4 entries in big games where you put $3 in and try to win, 50,000 or whatever. 3 of those are for all day Sunday. 1 of those is for the early game only. I've got 1 2 to 20 where I put in $2 and try to win $20. And that's it. So I'm really focusing on double ups in the 2 to 20, and then just throwing what I feel to be the best lineups that I've got into the big tournaments. And there is a little difference in the lineups that you want to pick. For tournaments like this, the big ones, you want to take some risks. Pick players that you think are going to give you the biggest reward that people might be overlooking. And then for tournaments where or whatever, you really just want to pick them consistent players. So for instance, if I had the salary cap and was trying to pick between Shane Vereen or Eric Ebron for this upcoming weekend in a huge tournament, I'm picking Vereen all day. In a double up, I'm probably going to lean to Ebron. So just to give you an example of the thought process that goes into that. I'm going to go over my research here with you guys in just a moment, and that'll pretty much be it for this video. And stay tuned, because I'm going to be putting through another video here on running backs for this upcoming weekend, and we'll be getting that out to you shortly this week as well. Thanks for watching. So real quick, I just wanted to show what my research typically looks like each week. I'll pretty much cover the front and back of 2 pages, looking at who got the most targets, and then doing my own projections on who I think is going to score the most, and then dividing it by their cost, figuring out how much points they're going to give per dollar that you spend on them, basically. Then I rank them based on the points that I think they're going to score, and based on the overall value. So that's it. That's basically how I do my research. And then I make my lineups and break it all down based on comparing lineup to lineup. So I'll put lineup A, B, C here. Where are the variances? Where do I feel like I have opportunity to get more for my money? So that's it. I appreciate you watching, and tune in as we'll talk a little bit more about some of these players in our next video. We'll focus specifically on the running backs. And I flipped these pages around enough. You can probably read my cheat sheet now. But anyways, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.